Hey guys, what's up? Dom here from JoJo Productions. Not very happy right now actually. I'm supposed to be holding a Canon 5D Mark IV in my hands, which I don't have, so I'm a little disappointed, I guess could be the word. I don't know. Not very happy. So since I don't have the 5D Mark IV, I thought I'd do a comparison video instead of the 5D Mark III to the Canon 5D Mark IV. So let's just talk about the difference, and is the 5D Mark IV worth upgrading from the 5D Mark III? Okay, so in 2012 the 5D Mark III was released, and it just changed the games for photographers and videographers. And then 4 years later, out comes the 5D Mark IV. Why it took 4 years, I'm not the one to say why it took 4 years, but here we have the new Canon 5D Mark IV. There have been some changes. Actually, there's been a lot of really big changes between the two. I think the biggest thing about this new camera is the dual pixel RAW and the 4K video. Also, of course, the 30 megapixel sensor that we're just gonna go over that all right now. Okay, let's go over the megapixel and the sensor. Both are obviously full frame. One has 22.3 megapixels, which is the 5D Mark III, and the 5D Mark IV now has 30.4 megapixels. That's like a 40% difference in pixels. Bad thing about that though is they both have the AA filter, so the images are not going to be as sharp. Burst rate, six frames on the 5D Mark III and 7 frames on the 5D Mark IV. Not much of a big difference. Video, 4K on the 5D Mark IV and 1080p on the 5D Mark III, so there's a huge difference in that, obviously. But the bad thing about the 5D Mark IV is that there is a 1.7 crop that you have to do to be able to get the 4K, so you're not using that full frame sensor. If you want to use full frame 4K, take a look at the Sony cameras. And for those of you wondering about the video, you cannot output 4K through the HDMI. It only does 1080p. Why? I think that has to do something with the Canon C300 Mark II that came out. I don't know, that's just me. Autofocus. The new Canon 5D Mark IV has the dual pixel autofocus, which is really, really nice. So you can touch the back screen, which by the way, yes, the 5D Mark IV is a touch screen, whereas the 5D Mark III is not a touch screen, but we got ahead of ourselves a little bit. But the dual pixel autofocus is great for live view and video. If you just touch the screen, it will, you know, shift between the two focus points really smoothly, really cinematically if you need that. The 5D Mark III did not have that. In live view, it had a really, really crappy autofocus. So we're seeing the dual pixel in a lot newer cameras, like the T6i, the 70D, the 80D, the T6S, like all these new Canon cameras are having this dual pixel autofocus system. And I'm still wondering why the Nikon side of things doesn't have it. I don't really know. That's just a big mystery to me. Nikon would be doing really great if they did have that, but they don't, so I don't know. One really, really big difference between these two cameras is the dual pixel RAW, which I think is totally cool. I mean, it's useful. Pretty much what this is it lets you make micro adjustments with the focus and the bokeh. So let's say like your focus is, you're doing a portrait and you miss the focus because it's maybe on the eyelash. What the dual pixel autofocus is going to let you do, oh, not the dual pixel autofocus, but the dual pixel RAW is going to let you do is it's going to let you shift that focus just a little bit in and out. And it also does it with the bokeh. It shifts the bokeh a little bit. It's cool. The only problem is you have to use that really, really crappy Canon software to be able to do it, and it just slows your workflow down, and it's really slow. Low light performance, in case you are wondering, yes, low light performance has been updated. Yeah, it's 100 to 32,000, whereas the Canon 5D Mark III is 100 to 25,600. Why the camera has not gone up like a full stop or more is probably because of that 30 megapixels. They added more resolution, so the low light performance didn't get amped up as much, which that's okay. The new autofocus from the 5D Mark IV is the same that you are going to find in the 1DX Mark II. So it's going to have a really fast, accurate, really nice autofocus system. Whereas the 5D Mark III, it's good, but it's just not as fast. So if you really need that snappy autofocus, you're gonna get it. It locks on, it's good tracking, it's just a really good autofocus system. I did say it's the same one from the 1DX Mark II. That doesn't mean it's gonna have the same performance as the 1DX Mark II, because as we know, the 1DX Mark II has 14 frames a second, whereas this 5D Mark IV only has 7 frames. So it doesn't mean it's going to have the same, burst rate. It just has the same autofocus points and system. So it's really nice. 65 autofocus points. Are they all cross-type? I think they're all cross-type. Yeah, I think they're all cross-type. So one kind of big disappointment about the camera is the SD cards. They are still CF card and an SD card. Why they haven't jumped up to something like a CFast card, or what is Canon now? So why they haven't put in like a QXD card or something faster, I don't know. I don't know why they haven't done that yet. The technology of the camera has gone up, but yet these way you're supposed to record images has not. It's still left in 2012, I guess. Another great thing about these two cameras is that actually they share the same battery. So if you do upgrade it, you can just keep your old 5D Mark III batteries and use those in the Canon 5D Mark IV. So you are saving yourself a lot of money when it comes to the power of this camera. I know a lot of people are going to be just all over that. I think that's a great thing. Batteries, they don't seem like it's a big deal, but they really are. Like, batteries are like anywhere from like 70 to 80 bucks a piece. So having the same battery is actually a really nice feature and money saving too. So another thing that's really going to separate these two cameras is the image quality. I'm not talking about how good it looks, but I'm talking more about the dynamic range. Now the dynamic range is so much better from the 5D Mark IV than it is from the 5D Mark III. The 5D Mark IV just trumps the 3 in every way. Pulling out shadows, I know, was just really bad. You started getting artifacts. It was noisy when you tried to pull details from those shadows, and I know a lot of people were just not happy with what the 5D Mark III was doing with the dynamic range. But in the 5D Mark IV, it seems to have been improved, and it's a lot easier. You can pull more detail from the shadows, so that is a really good thing. Okay, so is this camera worth an upgrade from the 5D Mark III? If you are a working professional who needs the newer technology, wants the 4K, wants to try the dual pixel RAW mode thing, wants faster burst rate, better low light performance, better dynamic range, then yes, of course, I think that the 5D Mark IV is totally worth the upgrade. Are most people with a 5D Mark III going to upgrade to the 5D Mark IV? Maybe. I think there's people who are going to, but if you are like coming from maybe like a 6D and you're taking a look at the 5D Mark III or the 5D Mark IV, I think a lot of people are probably just going to stick to the 5D Mark III and they're just going to shoot the 5D Mark III and maybe wait for a 5D Mark V. If that's even a thing, I don't know. So the new 24-105 is, I guess, better than the old 24-105. I guess it's sharper. I guess the image stabilization's a lot better, less chromatic aberration. I guess it's just an altogether better lens too. So that kit lens, I guess, is just better than the old one. Do I recommend shooting with a kit lens? No, I always recommend getting different lenses than the one that comes with it. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. If not, like it, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.